Well, it's day 4, and I was at work, and it was sunny there, but I work about 30 miles from home. And this is what I got at home. Clouds. Sunny over there. Cloudy right here. Not all bad, though. I am putting 2 amps in, which isn't very much, but it's better than 0. And I was actually able to raise the battery level a little bit while I was at work, not very much. But I'm going to go ahead and turn the inverter back on, and so I can start charging the battery up at the front of the trailer. So that's probably going to... Yep, there she goes. Alright, finally getting a little bit of sunshine, pulling in some big amperage, relatively speaking for me. He's into this little experiment, and while it's turning out to be somewhat doable, as long as you get sunshine, it is tedious as fuck to watch your energy use all day long with every single thing that you do. But it's a good exercise in kind of seeing where your power's going. And I got to tell you one thing for sure, that it would not be possible without this device right here. This guy is making it possible for me to go on solar energy. Any forum you go to will tell you it's easier to conserve power than it is to make power. And this, well, this was like $500 and some odd, pretty pricey for a little refrigerator. I would have to spend $5 grand in batteries and solar panels and other electronics to produce and store the energy I would need to run a regular refrigerator. So it's definitely well worth the money from a energy standpoint. However, some things that I'm really not enjoying about this thing so far is, one, it's just like if you're camping and you want to go in here and get stuff out of it. You know, it's deep and there's a lot of space, but I'm going to have to build some kind of rack in there so I can easily pull out stuff from the top and the bottom, because otherwise it's just a pile. So it's not any fun to get in there and dig around. But it does a good job of cooling, and of course the top lid makes it so that the cold air doesn't spill out when you open the door. So, I mean, I've had this open and dug around there and fiddle farted and closed the lid back up, and it doesn't turn itself right back on right away. So that's pretty nice. The other thing is I can tell it runs way less than my other fridge does. It just doesn't use any, it doesn't go through the electricity near as much. I don't know if you can see that's 35 degrees in there, so it's pretty cold. But yeah, so far this thing is a champ. And the other thing I really like about it is the fact that I have it hardwired to my 12 volt. And that really adds another buffer of energy storage for me. It uses less energy on 12 volt than it would if I was running it on 110. Because I don't have all that loss through the conversion process of 24 to 110 back to whatever this thing converts the voltage to. It's probably 24, I'm going to guess. But yeah, that part works really good because I can turn off the inverter and this fridge still runs off the battery. It doesn't drain it down. And then when I have a lot of sun like this, I can turn the battery charger for the front battery back on and everything charges at the same time. So it really gives me a lot more flexibility than I had before. Although with our travel trailer fridge, I could also run it on propane if I wanted to. But I don't know. For some reason, I'm just not super excited about that because it's just hard to tell how much propane you have. I don't know. I just don't like it for whatever reason. I don't really have a logical reason. I just am not jazzed about that thought. Anyhow, enough rambling. One problem I'm having with turning my power off at night is that my clock then gets turned off. Now the good news is it actually runs on the same power or the same voltage that you get out of a USB connector. So what I'm going to do is cut the cord off of this guy right here. Well, not that end. But anyhow, this is a old leftover cord from a Sony Walkman that's got a USB cable on one end and then the other end is the Walkman end. So what I'm going to do is cut the wires and see if I can wire this up to my clock so I can see the clock at night. I don't know if you can see it, but there's ridiculously tiny wires, of which there's a black and a red, and I'm going to guess that's my positive and negative since this is DC. And yeah, I'm going to plug it in and find out which is which. Okay, I've just cut the cord from the power supply to the clock, and here's the other end, and I'm going to try to wire these two together. Alright, here we go. Moment of truth. I'm going to plug the USB cable into my M12 battery pack that's from my heated hoodie, and we're going to see if it works. Ta-da! So now I can run my clock off of that battery pack, and I don't have to leave my inverter on at night, and I can still see the clock, which is going to be pretty sweet. Now what's pretty nice about this is I can hit this button and see how much life I have left in my battery. Although what I probably will end up doing is taking something like this, that's a 12 volt converter, that's got the USB plug in it, you know, kind of like your car charger for your phone, and take the tip off and just hardwire that into the into the trailer 12 volt system, and then I can just leave it plugged in and not worry about whether it's turning on or off, or whether I'm running out of battery. Well, I'm only putting in 3 amps, but that's because the good news is I'm at 100% state of charge. Sorry about wiggling the camera. So once the batteries are at 100%, it won't keep putting in more amperage. So what I'd really like to do now is find something else that I could run with electricity to use all the extra sunlight that I'm not putting into my batteries. But I'm kind of in conservation mode, so there's not much else I can do to use power unless I was just doing something to do something. But pretty excited about being at 100%. I'm charging up every other battery in the trailer right now, so I should be good to go overnight. Get him, Lola. Get him. Get him.